bab macam potong pun ni. Salah pada Petang. Wah, ada masalah outlook. Masalah pada Syamsuddin.
Sekolah apa tu?
Kasih outlook.
Dia tak betul gila.
Borak juga buat. Wah, ini penting ni. Oh, ni.
Main Google dia kot.
Ini security. Salah siap. Working.
Ya pun.
Dah. Siapa yang oh yang tu cakap
ABC tak masuk-masuk ni. Dia loading ada tadi.
Tu bas tu apa? JB
JB
Aziza tu lah. Yang biasa tu lah.
Yang tanya ni lah. Tisakiah tadi.
Tisakiah. Dia banyak cakap tu.
Tak suka jaga BKK 2.
Oh, ada dia. Oh.
BKK 2 ni dengan YA perempuan.
Oh.
Kalau yang BKK 1 lelaki.
Oh. Okay. TP pun. Dia TP kan?
Ni TP lelaki.
Oh, TP lelaki.
Ni PKP. PKP apa?
PKP penolong pendaftar. PKP ni perintah kawalan berkurung. Memang dia tak buka video lagi. Konyak weh.
Jangan.
Petang apa? Bersih weh.
Dia kerja ke ni? Tak ada.
Pagi tadi je.
Petang relax.
Petang macam relax. Petang tu kau pun dari sini lagi ngam kan? Kau semalam dah ngam dah kemas-kemas. Balik bila kau? Jalan balik.
Lambat.
Aku tengok nasi kau ada.
Aku turun. Aku tak makan nasi tu sebab kan kita rehat awal lah kan. Pukul 11.
Dia tu tak kenyang.
11.30 dah makan. Lepas tu tiba-tiba turun bawah.
Bagus.
Setting banquet tu tiba-tiba Datuk tu ajak. Dia kata dia dah order makan Dia paksa kat bawa naik. Yang petang tu habis long call aku ingat balik lah. Sekali mirror apa? Mirror call suruh bawa turun lampu spotlight tu.
Dahsyat juga.
Bawa turun kat. Dah bawa turun ambil kau. Lebih pun tadi.
Saya dah.
Tak dapat sing.
Jangan. Tu yo.
Bayang aku duduk atas tadi macam ni.
Ngantuk.
Time dia baca kes tu mana nak dengar.
Kenapa?
Time Hakim tu baca kes mana nak dengar. tu baru baru aku dengar. Ya puan.
Jadi tutup agak tadi. Tak tahu. Katanya pergi tengok. Kenapa lagi? Saya pun tak makan. Saya minum je. Sebenarnya saya mungkin ada makanan tak. Dia dah nyuruk tu nampak.
Sedangkan secara sidang video atas persetujuan kesemua pihak berikutan pelaksanaan Perintah Kawalan Pergerakan di bawah Pelan Pemulihan Negara Fasa 4, Hakim yang bersidang pada hari ini ialah Hakim Datuk Noorin Binti Badaruddin. Petisyen untuk penerimaan masuk sebagai Peguam Bela dan Peguam Cara. Pempetisyen pertama WA-18-59-01/2021 Jessie Angel.
Dengan izin Yang Arif, nama saya Jessie Angel, pempetisyen pertama.
Muhammad, saya hadir bagi mewakili pempetisyen pertama ini.
Dengan izin Yang Arif, nama saya Jessie Angel.
Yang Arif, rakan-rakan saya yang bijaksana yang hadir bagi pihak Peguam Negara adalah bagi pihak Peguam Negara Tuan Ahmad Faiz.
Benar Yang Arif?
Mewakili Majlis Peguam Malaysia Iskandar Putra Islam.
Benar Yang Arif?
Dan bagi mewakili Jawatan Kuasa Peguam Kuala Lumpur, Miss Josephine Chiu Yuen.
Benar Yang Arif.
Maaf, Josephine Chiu Yen. Ya.
Yes.
Yang Arif, memohon izin untuk memperkenalkan pempetisyen ini yang berhasrat untuk diterima masuk sebagai Peguam Bela Peguam Cara Mahkamah Tinggi Malaysia. Dan saya mohon izin untuk meneruskan persembahan saya dalam bahasa Inggeris.
Dipersilakan, Puan Hendon.
Dengan izin, Yang Arif. May it please you, my lady. Your humble petitioner, Jessie and Jerry, was born in Kuala Lumpur, the only child of Mr. Jason and Madam Alice Ho. She completed her A-level in the year 2015, and in that year, she enrolled for the University of London External Program in Law, successfully completing it in the year 2018 with good results, second upper. In the year 2019, my lady, your petitioner undertook the Bar Professional Training course at BPP University. And in November 2020, she was called to the English bar at the Inner Temple. Home in Malaysia, on the 4th of January 2021, this year, your petitioner Malaya commenced pupillage in the established firm of Messrs. Shuklin and Bob, under the guidance and tutelage of a pupil master and my little friend, Miss Wendy Lee, as pupil master. In 9 months, without expectation for fulfilling, exposed to the law in its practical application and reality. In areas of litigation, corporate, intellectual property, among others. Today, my lady, your petitioner thanks her people master, Miss Wendy Lee, for her care and concern rendered during the learning period of 9 months. Your petitioner also wishes to remember some members of the Malaysian Bar who had become acquainted with her during her learning period and had lended her tremendous help. Mr. Israel, Mr. Arvin, Mr. Jeremy, Miss Jocelyn, Miss Victoria, and she is blessed to have had her fellow pupil, Sai Jack, when she completed her 9 months pupillage. My lady, for your petitioner personally, this day is auspicious. She had been drawn to the law, as it were, from a very early stage. She had participated greatly in mooting competitions and been rewarded very well for her excellence. But the real reason that she was drawn to the law is because she felt that the law empowered her to help those in need. But she admits that she could not have done it without the help of those she loves. And today, she gives the ultimate tribute to the most wonderful people in her life. Her parents, Mr. Jason Ng, and Madam Alice Ho, thank them for their love and support, for their wisdom and unceasing encouragement, and providing her with the opportunity to pursue this noble profession. She wishes also to remember her grandma, Madam Cheong Shaolin, who had given her an unlimited supply of care and love to her since day one. She wishes to remember her aunts, Miss Carrie Ng and Miss Ong Wei Wei, who themselves gave significant support to your petitioner and helped her achieve. She wishes to remember today all the rest of the family members for having shared their love with the petitioner and having been there for her. She wishes also to remember her close friends, Eunice, Ryan, Vivian, Tommy, and Beth, for bringing so much support, joy, and fun to her life. Today, all that she has achieved, she would attribute to all the people who have been there for her. Saya percaya yang Arif, Pempetisyen adalah seorang yang layak untuk diterima masuk sebagai Peguam Bela Peguam Cara Mahkamah Tinggi Malaya. Saya difahamkan bahawa semua surat cara dalam petition ini adalah lengkap, teratur dan sempurna dan tiada bantahan dari pihak Peguam Negara, Majlis Peguam Malaysia dan Jawatan Kuasa Peguam Kuala Lumpur. Justru yang Arif dengan penuh hormat dan sukacita, saya mohon kepada Mahkamah yang mulia ini untuk menerima masuk dan mendaftaraikan Pempetisyen Jessie Ng An J sebagai Peguam Bela Peguam Cara Mahkamah Tinggi Malaya. Mohon diperkenankan.
Mewakili yang berbahagia Tan Sri Peguam Negara tidak mempunyai bantahan yang Arif.
Izin Arif, bagi pihak Majlis Peguam tiada bantahan Arif.
Majlis Peguam Kuala Lumpur tiada bantahan yang Arif.
Mahkamah dengan ini membenarkan permohonan Pempetisyen dan menerima masuk Jessie Ng Angel sebagai Peguam Bela dan Peguam Cara Mahkamah Tinggi Malaya dan juga memerintahkan nama Jessie Ng Angel dan penerimaannya didaftaraikan oleh pendaftar.
Saya ucapkan terima kasih kepada Yang Arif atas keputusan mahkamah. Saya mohon izin Yang Arif untuk membenarkan Pempetisyen menyarungkan jubahnya sendiri.
Dipersilakan.
Terima kasih Yang Arif.
Congratulations. Thank you, Wan Hendon.
I'm obliged, My Lady.
Petisyen kedua, WA-18-937-06/2019 Hadli Nathan, anak lelaki Arokia Nathan.
Dengan izin Yang Arif, nama saya Hadli Nathan, anak lelaki Arokia Nathan, Pempetisyen kedua.
Yes.
Dengan izin Yang Arif, Edward Kuruvilla, Peguam Pengusul bagi Pempetisyen kedua, Hadli Nathan, anak lelaki Arokia Nathan, dengan saya rakan-rakan bijaksana saya daripada Jabatan Peguam Negara, Majlis Peguam Malaysia dan Jawatan Kuasa Peguam Kuala Lumpur seperti mana diperkenalkan sebentar tadi. Dengan izin Yang Arif, saya dengan rendah diri memohon izin untuk meneruskan hujahan saya dalam bahasa Inggeris.
Dipersilakan.
My Lady, allow me to introduce the petitioner today, Hadli Nathan, anak lelaki Arokia Nathan. The petitioner was born on the 2nd of October 1991 in Kuala Pilah, Negeri Sembilan, and is the first of two children to Mr. Arokia Nathan Sinaya and the late Madam Angelina Anthony. The petitioner underwent his primary education in Sekolah Kebangsaan Saint Gabriel and Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Saint Gabriel subsequently. The petitioner then graduated from the University of Hertfordshire with a Bachelor's of Law and obtained a second-class upper. Thereafter, the petitioner passed his certificate of legal practice and underwent his pupillage at Messrs. Wajdi Muhammad Yusri and Co. under the tutelage of Mr. Wajdi Muhammad, whom the petitioner describes as one of the most interesting persons and which the petitioner describes as one of the most interesting times in his life. Reading or practicing the law was never the petitioner's lifelong dream, as the petitioner grew up having a deep affinity towards history and paleontology. The petitioner, however, believes that his interest in digging up things bodes well with the legal practice, as the digging skills came in handy, especially in excavating precedents and cases which subsequently contributed to the matters he was handling at the material time. This, the petitioner believes, certainly helped the petitioner to discover his interest in the legal practice. My Lady, an African proverb quoted by the petitioner states, "It takes a village to raise a child." And likewise, the petitioner believed it took a group of amazing people to raise a lawyer, and on this memorable occasion, the petitioner would like to take this opportunity to extend his gratitude to these very people. Firstly, the petitioner would like to thank God Almighty for gracing and blessing the petitioner with opportunities that are only made possible through him. The petitioner would also like to thank his parents, Mr. Arokia Nathan Sinaya and the late Madam Angelina Anthony, for their endless efforts in educating the petitioner and providing the petitioner with amazing opportunities. The petitioner owes the both of them a great debt, especially to his late mother, who always taught him to dream big and to have the grandest of visions, whilst at the same time incorporating values of humility and compassion. The petitioner would also like to express his gratitude to his younger sister, Miss Vivian Nathan, for always giving him the confidence to take on challenges, and the petitioner always drew inspiration from Miss Vivian's industry and hard work, and the petitioner believes that she's one of the most hardworking people he has come to know. The petitioner also extends his gratitude to his pupil master, Encik Wajdi Muhammad, for his guidance and advice throughout his pupillage. His master is a firm yet friendly figure who has taught the petitioner critical skills and nurtured the petitioner's interest in law. The petitioner would also like to thank his current boss, Datuk Alvin John, for being a generous person in terms of knowledge and guidance. The petitioner also extends his thanks to everyone at Messrs. Alvin John and Partners for their endless guidance on all matters pertaining litigation. The petitioner extends his gratitude to his buddies, namely Sanjay Kumar, Isvin Maria and Pravin Kumar, Arun Ganesh, and Gobind Singh Raj, who have also lent their support in hard times, especially when the petitioner needed clarification on points of law and procedures. The petitioner also would like to thank his little cousin Callista Lewis, who always urged the petitioner to study every morning during the CLP course. The petitioner also thanks his lecturers, tutors, teachers who have graced the petitioner with boundless knowledge. Without them, none of this would be possible. Last, my lady, the petitioner takes this opportunity to thank himself for not giving up on himself, and for choosing to take breaks when situations seem bleak instead of giving up. Whilst this is admittedly unconventional, my lady, thanking one's own self, when understood in the context of what the petitioner has gone through, because I've known the petitioner for more than a decade now, it is with respect, well deserved. Indeed, my lady, true to fashion, when it seemed like the petitioner was all ready to be called last Friday, it was declared a public holiday in Kuala Lumpur, throwing what is hopefully a final spanner in the works. The petitioner would like to end his speech with a quote from David Rocastle, which reads, "Remember who you are, and what you represent," as a message not only to the petitioner, but to the fellow petitioners who are being called today. Yang Arif, saya percaya Pempetisyen adalah seorang yang layak untuk diterima masuk sebagai Peguam Bela dan Peguam Cara Mahkamah Tinggi Malaya, dan saya percaya semua kertas kausa Pempetisyen adalah teratur dan tiada sebarang bantahan daripada rakan-rakan bijaksana saya, masing-masing daripada Badan Peguam Malaysia, Jabatan Peguam Negara dan Jawatan Kuasa Peguam Kuala Lumpur.
Tiada bantahan ya, Arif?
Yang izin Arif, Majlis Peguam tiada bantahan.
Jawatan Kuasa Peguam Kuala Lumpur tiada bantahan Yang Arif.
Dengan itu, Yang Arif, saya memohon supaya Pempetisyen dibenarkan dan satu perintah untuk menerima masuk Pempetisyen Hadley Nathan anak lelaki Arifka Nathan sebagai Peguam Bela dan Peguam Cara Mahkamah Tinggi Malaya dibenarkan.
Mahkamah dengan ini membenarkan permohonan Pempetisyen dan menerima masuk Hadley Nathan anak lelaki Arifka Nathan sebagai Peguam Bela dan Peguam Cara Mahkamah Tinggi Malaya, dan juga memerintahkan nama Hadley Nathan anak lelaki Arifka Nathan dan penerimaannya didaftaraikan oleh pendaftar.
Dengan izin Yang Arif, pohon kebenaran Mahkamah Yang Mulia ini untuk Pempetisyen menjubahkan diri sendiri.
Dipersilakan.
Terima kasih Yang Arif.
Congratulations, well done, and thank you, Mr. Edward Kuruvilla. Interesting speech as usual.
I'm obliged, my lady.
Seterusnya, Pempetisyen ketiga WA-1063-1020 Lim Zifong.
Dengan izin Yang Arif, nama saya Lim Zifong, Pempetisyen ketiga.
Yes.
Dengan izin Yang Arif, nama saya Chin Shu Chen, Peguam Pengusul bagi pihak Pempetisyen ketiga Lim Zifong. Turut hadir adalah rakan-rakan bijaksana saya yang mewakili pihak yang berbahagia Jabatan Peguam Negara, Majlis Peguam Malaysia dan Jawatan Kuasa Peguam Kuala Lumpur, seperti mana yang telah diperkenalkan sebentar tadi. Dengan izin Yang Arif, saya memohon kebenaran Mahkamah Yang Mulia ini untuk meneruskan hujangan saya dalam bahasa Inggeris.
Dipersilakan.
Yeah, may it be please, my lady, allow me to introduce the petitioner Lim Zifong. The petitioner was born in Penang on the 25th of July 1997 and rests under the watchful and loving care of his beloved parents, Mr. Lim Chun San and Mr. and Madam Tan Man Ling, together with his beloved elder sister, Miss Lim Kar Yi. The petitioner started his primary education in SJKC Lihua and thereafter continued his studies in SMJK Chongling, Butterworth. Upon completion of his SPM, the petitioner decided to read law at Multimedia University in the quiet town of Melaka and graduated with second-class honors in his LLB. In August 2020, the petitioner had the privilege of commencing his pupillage under Miss Ong Bi Kun at Gibb & Co. The petitioner would like to express his utmost appreciation to his master for her mentorship, who has nurtured the petitioner's professional development with patience and care. The petitioner would also like to thank Mr. Chan Ken Lee, Mr. Lim Po Leong, and Mr. Yap Kok Kyong for affording the petitioner insightful guidance and room for improvement during his pupillage. And to the petitioner's parents, the petitioner expressed his immeasurable gratitude for all the sacrifice made and patience afforded to him over the years. And to the petitioner's sister, the petitioner expressed his endless appreciation for always acting as his unconditional and unqualified ally. No amount of eloquently phrased sentiments can aptly describe the boundless love and affection that the petitioner's parents and sister have indulged him in. As the old adage goes, niceties doth butter no parsnips. Therefore, the petitioner vows to let his actions speak for themselves, loud and clear, moving forward. However, for this single moment in time, the petitioner sincerely hopes that he has made them proud. And to the petitioner's friends, the petitioner is eternally grateful for their companionship over the years. From the rowdy days in classes and lectures to the late night study sessions before exams, to having fun and laughing without a care in the world, to the quiet and serene moments of introspection, the petitioner will cherish these joyous moments for the rest of his days and promise to create more valued memories together in the future. Although countless individuals have blessed the petitioner with their camaraderie, the petitioner wishes to take this opportunity to gratify his high school CLV brother gang, his university Wonderland group, and his university juniors, in particular for their friendship and support, which has given the petitioner's life a vibrant and brilliant shine. Of course, the petitioner also takes this opportunity to thank his mover, it's me, for taking the time to move his call and be part of the petitioner's special day. And from a global pandemic to national lockdowns, movement control orders and miracles, football victories, this moment has been a long time coming, but finally the day to appear before this honorable court has arrived. And on this momentous occasion, the petitioner not only indulged himself a humble but stern pat on the back, but also expressed his warmest congratulations to his fellow petitioners for their achievement. The past roads treaded have been filled with hardships and disappointments. The future roads yet to be treaded promise even more so. However, with the steadfastness and clarity of this moment, surely no challenge is too daunting to overcome. And the petitioner wishes his fellow petitioners the best of luck in their future endeavors. And dengan izin Yang Arif, saya sesungguhnya percaya bahawa Pempetisyen Lim Si Fong adalah seorang yang berkelayakan untuk didaftarkan sebagai seorang Peguam Cara dan Peguam Bela di Mahkamah Tinggi Malaya. Saya juga percaya bahawa semua surat cara Pempetisyen adalah teratur dan tiada apa-apa bantahan daripada rakan bijaksana saya dari Yang Berbahagia Jabatan Peguam Negara, Majlis Peguam Malaysia dan Jawatan Kuasa Peguam Kuala Lumpur.
Ada bantahan ya, Arif?
Izin Arif, Majlis Peguam tiada bantahan.
Bagi pihak Jawatan Kuasa Peguam Pulau Pinang, mereka tiada bantahan, Yang Arif.
Okay, dengan izin Yang Arif, saya memohon agar Pempetisyen Lim Si Fong ini dibenarkan dan satu perintah untuk menerima masuk Lim Si Fong sebagai Peguam Bela dan Peguam Cara Mahkamah Tinggi Malaya.
Mahkamah dengan ini membenarkan permohonan Pempetisyen dan menerima masuk Lim Zefung sebagai Peguam Bela dan Peguam Cara Mahkamah Tinggi Malaya dan juga memerintahkan nama Lim Zefung dan penerimaannya didaftaraikan oleh pendaftar.
Ya Arif, saya memohon kebenaran mahkamah yang mulia ini untuk Pempetisyen menjubahkan diri sendirinya.
Dipersilakan.
Terima kasih Yang Arif.
Congratulations and thank you, Madam Chin.
Ya, much obliged.
Petisyen keempat WA-18-1315-09/2020 KLU.
Dengan izin Yang Arif, nama saya Kelly Yo, Pempetisyen keempat.
Yes.
Dengan izin Yang Arif. Yang Arif, saya Jasmine binti Abu Bakar, Peguam pengusul untuk Pempetisyen keempat Yang Arif, iaitu Kelly Yo. Rakan-rakan bijaksana saya daripada badan-badan berkenaan yang telah diperkenalkan kepada Yang Arif awal tadi. Dengan izin Yang Arif, saya ingin memohon kebenaran mahkamah untuk meneruskan hujahan saya di dalam bahasa Inggeris.
Dipersilakan.
Yang Arif, the petitioner was born and raised in Subang Jaya to Yo Jusiang and Caroline Wong and is the oldest of 3 children. The petitioner read law at University of Leeds and was conferred a Bachelor of Law degree in June 2018. She then proceeded to Manchester Metropolitan University to undergo her bar professional training program and was called to the Bar of England and Wales in March 2021. The petitioner then joined Mrs. Uthman Hashim and Co., where she was a paralegal prior to commencing her pupillage at the same. The petitioner would like to first and foremostly extend her gratitude to her father, Mr. Yo Jusiang, and for financially supporting her ambitions to become a lawyer, and to her siblings, Shuban and Kaden, and her extended family for encouraging and supporting her through the hardest she faced in her journey thus far. The petitioner would also like to extend her gratitude to her mother, grandfather, grandmother, and grand-uncle for always having a kind word, encouraging her and supporting her ambitions throughout the years, and though they are no longer with us. The petitioner prays that she has done them proud and that they would continue to watch over throughout her career. The petitioner extends her deepest gratitude to her master, Ms. Kamaljit Kaur, anak perempuan Bhupinder Singh, for the privilege and for her guidance, tutelage, and the opportunity given to the petitioner throughout her pupillage. She offers special thanks to all the partners, associates, and staff at the Mrs. Uthman Hashim for their guidance, patience, and support which has sustained her throughout her time there. Further, the petitioner wishes to extend her gratitude to Sarah, Shaza, and her other people mates who provide her with help, emotional support, and much laughter, making her privileged experience a cherished memory she always hold dearly. Lastly, the petitioner wishes to extend her gratitude to Leah, Christine, Kamin, Shenling, Amanda, Duani, and all her friends who have celebrated every happy moment throughout her journey and became her comfort when she struggled. The petitioner is thankful to everyone who has made time to witness and share in this joyous milestone. Dengan izin Yang Arif, saya sesungguhnya percaya bahawa segala kertas kausa adalah teratur dan saya juga percaya bahawa Pempetisyen adalah seorang yang berkelayakan menurut Akta Profesion Undang-Undang 1976 untuk diterima masuk dan didaftaraikan sebagai seorang Peguam Bela dan Peguam Cara Mahkamah Tinggi Malaya pada hari ini. Saya juga percaya bahawa rakan-rakan bijaksana saya yang mewakili badan-badan berkenaan tidak mempunyai sebarang bantahan. Oleh yang demikian, Ya Arif, saya dengan rendah diri memohon agar Pempetisyen Kalio diterima masuk dan didaftarai sebagai Peguam Bela dan Peguam Cara di Mahkamah Tinggi Malaya.
Tiada bantahan ya Arif?
Dengan izin Arif, Majlis Peguam tiada bantahan.
Jawatan Kuasa Peguam Kuala Lumpur tiada bantahan Yang Arif.
Mahkamah dengan ini membenarkan permohonan Pempetisyen dan menerima masuk Kalio sebagai Peguam Bela dan Peguam Cara Mahkamah Tinggi Malaya dan juga memerintahkan nama Kalio dan penerimaannya didaftaraikan oleh pendaftar.
Terima kasih Ya Arif. Saya memohon kebenaran mahkamah yang mulia ini untuk membenarkan Pempetisyen menjubahkan dirinya sendiri.
Dipersilakan.
Terima kasih Yang Arif.
Congratulations and thank you Puan Jasmine.
Terima kasih Ya Arif.
Pempetisyen kelima WA-1791-17/12/2020 Kod Yang Ting
Dengan izin Yang Arif, nama saya Kok Yanting, Pempetisyen kelima.
Yes.
Dengan izin Yang Arif. Dengan izin Yang Arif. Dengan izin Yang Arif. Something wrong with my... Yes. Dengan izin Yang Arif.
Yes, we can hear you, Mr. Murali.
Sorry, because the video was not showing me, so I was assuming that I was not being heard, Yang Arif. I apologize, Yang Arif.
No worries.
If I may proceed, Yang Arif.
Yes, please. We can hear and we can see you. Yes.
Okay. Dengan izin Yang Arif, saya Murali Daren Kalidas, Peguam pengusul yang mewakili Pempetisyen kelima, Cik Kok Yanting. Rakan-rakan bijaksana saya yang masing-masing mewakili yang berbahagia Peguam Negara Malaysia, Majlis Peguam Malaysia dan Jawatan Peguam Kuala Lumpur telah pun diperkenalkan awal tadi. Dengan izin Yang Arif, saya mohon kebenaran untuk meneruskan prosiding dalam bahasa Inggeris pula Yang Arif.
Dipersilakan.
Yang Arif, the fifth petitioner, Ms. Kok Yanting, was born on the 16th May 1996 in Kuala Lumpur and is the youngest child of her parents, Mr. Kok Lee Fook and Madam Goh Cheng Hong. The petitioner completed her primary education at the SJKC Jinjang Utara and her secondary education at the SMK Pandan Mewah. The petitioner then commenced her tertiary education at Tuanku Abdul Rahman University College for her A-levels and later completed her law degree at the Cardiff University. In 2019, the petitioner completed the bar professional training course at the Cardiff University with the grade of very competent and was later called to the Utter Bar of the High Court of the England and Wales as a member of the Middle Temple in November 2019. A year later, the petitioner was offered a pupillage in Masa's SNI and Partners under the tutelage of my learned friend Datuk Sangkaranaya. Yang Arif, the petitioner is extremely grateful for being able to share this important day with her family, friends and colleagues. The petitioner would like to express a heartfelt gratitude to her family for their unconditional support and love over the years, without which she would not be able to pursue her dream as a lawyer. The petitioner believes that she has her parents to thank for all her achievements. In the meantime, she is also thankful to her sibling, Kok Zenhua, for always being a good listener to her. The petitioner would also like to extend her sincerest gratitude to all her friends from secondary school right up to the bar. The petitioner is also thankful to all her colleagues, in particular Sam and Elise, who never hesitated to share their knowledge and experience with the petitioner and making her pupillage invaluable and memorable one. The petitioner would also like to grab this opportunity to thank her pupil master, Datuk Sangkaranaya, for the guidance and opportunities given to her pupillage. Yang Arif, with that Yang Arif, saya percaya bahawa Pempetisyen adalah seorang yang sesuai dan layak untuk diterima dan didaftaraikan sebagai Peguam Bela dan Peguam Cara Mahkamah yang mulia ini. Saya juga percaya bahawa semua kertas kausa pemohon adalah teratur dan juga tiada bantahan daripada rakan-rakan bijak saya daripada Jabatan Peguam Negara, Majlis Peguam dan Jawatan Kuasa Peguam Kuala Lumpur.
Ada bantahan ya, Arif?
Dengan izin Arif, Majlis Peguam tiada bantahan.
Yang Arif, oleh itu ya Arif, saya dengan rendah diri memohon Mahkamah yang mulia ini untuk menerima dan mendaftaraikan Pempetisyen Kok Yang Ting sebagai Peguam Bela dan Peguam Cara Mahkamah Tinggi Malaya.
Saya percaya jawatan kuasa Cik Josephine yang mewakili jawatan kuasa peguam juga tidak ada bantahan.
Oh,
Benar Puan, jawatan kuasa peguam Kuala Lumpur tiada bantahan.
Minta maaf Yang Arif.
Mahkamah dengan ini membenarkan permohonan Pempetisyen dan menerima Masuk Kok Yang Ting sebagai Peguam Bela dan Peguam Cara Mahkamah Tinggi Malaya dan juga memerintahkan nama Kok Yang Ting dan penerimaannya didaftaraikan oleh pendaftar.
Terima kasih Yang Arif. Dengan izin Yang Arif, saya memohon kebenaran untuk Pempetisyen untuk menyarungkan jubahnya sendiri Yang Arif.
Dipersilakan.
Terima kasih Yang Arif.
Congratulations and thank you Mr. Murali.
Much obliged Yang Arif.
Seterusnya, Pempetisyen ke-6 WA-18-01-01-12/2020 Colin Yong Shenzian.
Dengan izin Malidi, nama saya Colin Yong Shenzian, Pempetisyen ke-6.
Yes.
Dengan izin Yang Arif, can you hear me? Dengan izin Yang Arif,
Boleh dengar Datuk? Boleh dengar Datuk Siva?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear Datuk.
my name is Siva Loganathan. I appear for your petitioner, Colin Yong Shenzian. The parties appearing for the Attorney General's Chambers, the Bar Council, and the Kuala Lumpur Bar Committee are as mentioned earlier. Colin, my lady, is a younger son of a dear friend of mine, Mr. David Yong, and his charming wife, June Ng. From a very early age, Colin had always expressed his desire to become a lawyer, and he made it known. Law, I told him, my lady, is a profession of passion that requires dedication and a desire to help those in need. Albert Einstein, a famous scientist, once said, only a life lived in the service of others is a life that is well lived. Law is about service to mankind. Colin's schooling, my lady, started in Kuala Lumpur, and he thereafter proceeded to England to the University of Bristol, where he graduated with high honors in the year 2019. He was thereafter called to the Bar of England and Wales in 2020, and is a member of the Honorable Society of Middle Temple. Upon his return to Malaya, he commenced his pupillage at Lee Hishamuddin Allen and Gladhill under the able guidance of Mr. Sean Yao. Colin has since completed his pupillage and is about to commence a career in the field of intellectual property, especially litigation aspects of it. He will also dwell in dispute resolution of corporate and commercial matters. Colin expresses his gratitude to his master, Mr. Sean Yao, for his patience and careful guidance. His thanks are also due to his parents, brother Kevin and sister Karinya, and also grandmother Susie Lee for their endless support and encouragement. In passing, I would like to add, my lady, that Colin is a grandnephew of a famous lawyer, Mr. Ng Ek Thiong, who in his days was a leading lawyer at the Malaysian commercial bar in the 60s and 70s. To add on, my lady, amongst his well-known partners were Tan Sri B.C. George and Tan Sri Selvaraja. It is my fervent hope, my lady, that Colin in time will step into the shoes of his famous granduncle and be a source of pride to all of us. In addition, my lady, permit me to share an anecdote from the days of my call in the year 1971. In those days, my lady, it was customary for the Chief Justice to attend to calls, and we were privileged to have Tun Sufyan presiding on the call day. Tun mentioned the importance of English and how one must be very precise, very competent in the language to be a good lawyer. And he gave a little example. In the old days, my lady, we had lay magistrates, those who were not qualified, but experienced court interpreters. And in a case in Kuantan, a lay magistrate was taking notes in a rape case. A doctor had given evidence, and the doctor said that he examined the victim and he found some semen in the panties. The lay magistrate carefully noted it down and wrote it down as semen in the panties, C-E-M-E-N-T. And at the end of the day, the accused was acquitted and discharged. Tun Sufyan was sent to Kuantan as his first case upon return from UK as a DPP. The judge was a very old, well-known judge, Justice Bahagian, whose name appears in the annals of the Malayan law journals. Before Tun could even start his proceedings as a DPP, Justice Bahagian dropped his glasses and looked at Tun and said, "Learned Deputy, I've gone through the notes of evidence. I see you have got concrete evidence before me." And hence the importance of language, my lady, to be precise in its writing. And we need not emphasize this any further. My lady, I'm told that Colin is a fit and proper person to be admitted and enrolled as an advocate and solicitor of the High Court States of Malaya, as he has satisfied all the requirements of the Legal Profession Act. I confirm, my lady, that there are no objections from the Attorney General's Chambers, the Bar Council, and the Kuala Lumpur Bar Committee, as his papers are all in order. I therefore pray, my lady, that Colin be admitted and be enrolled as an advocate and solicitor of the High Court States of Malaya.
Ada bantahan ya, Arif?
Izin Arif, Majlis Peguam tiada bantahan.
Jawatan Kuasa Peguam Kuala Lumpur tiada bantahan, Yang Arif.
Mahkamah dengan ini membenarkan permohonan Pempetisyen dan menerima masuk Colin Yung Shenzian sebagai Peguam Bela dan Peguam Cara Mahkamah Tinggi Malaya dan juga memerintahkan nama Colin Yung Shenzian dan penerimaannya didaftaraikan oleh pendaftar.
Yang Arif, saya memohon kebenaran mahkamah yang mulia ini supaya Pempetisyen menyarungkan jubahnya secara sendiri.
Dipersilakan.
Terima kasih Yang Arif.
Congratulations and thank you, Datuk.
Much obliged, my lady.
Pempetisyen ke-7, WA-18-1923-11/2019, Lim Yu Han.
Dengan izin Yang Arif, nama saya Lim Yu Han, Pempetisyen ke-7.
Dengan izin Yang Arif, last but hopefully not the least, saya adalah Yip Wen Wing dan saya mewakili Pempetisyen Lim Yu Han. Rakan-rakan bijaksana saya yang lain yang hadir di hadapan Mahkamah yang Mulia pada hari ini daripada Peguam Negara Malaysia, Majlis Peguam dan Jawatan Peguam Kuala Lumpur adalah seperti yang telah diperkenalkan. Dengan segala hormatnya, Yang Arif, saya memohon keizinan untuk berterusan dengan ucapan saya dalam bahasa Inggeris kerana saya tidak lagi ingin memedihkan telinga pihak-pihak yang mungkin menyaksikan prosiding pengusulan pada hari ini.
Persilakan, Encik Yip.
Lady, thank you, my lady. I am obliged. My lady, before I introduce your petitioner, Ms. Lim Yu Han, please do allow me just some time to share a short story about your petitioner and my meeting with her. As I usually do before moving any long calls, I had invited the petitioner for a Zoom meeting, online meeting with me to enable me to get to know your petitioner, because I would always like to know more about the person whose call I'm about to move. Although not as personal as a face-to-face meeting, I think Zoom is now the new normal, and it's also the safest and most practical way for us to meet. And my lady, I usually make it a point to meet any petitioner whose calls I'm about to move so that I can help prepare a speech which I believe befits the occasion of one getting called to the bar. After all, one can only get called to a bar once in a lifetime, although one can get married and divorced many times. During my conversation with your petitioner, I discovered to my sadness that your petitioner has now opted not to continue with a career in legal profession and has already in fact secured a job with a corporate consultancy firm. So this got me slightly curious, and I questioned the petitioner as to why she didn't want to continue in our very esteemed profession, especially when at times like these, there are many people who are applying and trying to get into the profession. Maybe they have been influenced by the glitz and glamour of the legal profession by TV shows like my time is like LA Law and Ellie McBeal, although I'm dating myself. I think the newer shows are like Suits or some Korean drama where everybody is impossibly beautiful due to the wonders of cosmetic surgery. So, but I was still very curious as to what could be the reason one would leave a profession, which is one of the most challenging to get in. Bearing in mind that your petitioner had actually undertaken the CLP exam, which we all know is one of the toughest exams in the world to pass. What could it be? Could it be that the workload she had encountered? Could it be the lack of diversity of work she had? The mundaneness of the profession? A poor working environment? Maybe her boss, her pupil master, some ogre or tyrant. But the answer I received from your petitioner was quite an enlightening one, in that your petitioner, after having completed her 9 months chambering, felt that she was not cut out for the field of civil litigation, the area of law which her firm, Messrs. Israel Partnership, and your petitioner's pupil master, Mr. Wong Go Bin, are quite well known for. But as to whether or not your petitioner's pupil master and my learned friend, Mr. Wong Go Bin, is a tyrant or an ogre, I will revisit this shortly in my speech. Your petitioner very humbly explained to me that she did not consult for two reasons why she did not want to continue in the legal profession. First, she said that she felt she was not a very meticulous person. And secondly, she felt that she was not a very aggressive person. 2 points which your petitioner was of the view that she needed, or two characteristics she felt she needed in order to become a very effective and formidable practitioner, especially one who was going to go into the field of civil litigation, where one needed to pay attention to the details, to discover points of law to argue, as well as having an aggression to push that point across. Perhaps she could have taken some tips from Mr. Hadley, her fellow petitioner, out some facts. But while I felt that your petition showed a lot of humility and self-awareness, I could not really bring myself to agree with your petitioner, because in my conversations with her, I've found the petitioner to be a very bright, intelligent, and articulate person. And while I also am of the view that while being meticulous could be a plus point for any good litigator to have, but I also think that while we deal with the details, lawyers also need to consider the big picture of litigation to ensure that our clients achieve the goals of their litigating a case. After all, what are parties fighting over, if not to assert a particular point or to achieve their prayers, the prayers which they seek? But a balance must be met between overall looking at the big picture as well as the details of the case, for it's always in the details of. As for having to be to be aggressive, to be an effective litigator, while sometimes I feel a level of aggression may be required in circumstances, especially where one has very difficult opponents, which I think as time goes by, we find ourselves sometimes finding very dogged opponents. I still find it difficult to agree 100% with your petitioner's view, as despite being over 20 years in practice, I myself do not consider myself someone to be aggressive, although I can be combative if the situation requires. But rather, I feel that being rather than someone being aggression, and I shared this with your petitioner, I felt that the litigation is premised on the art of advocacy, which is not about aggression, but rather one of persuasion. After all, litigation does not require, and in fact, I think the courts and our fellow practitioners do frown upon counsels who make it a point to argue and rebut every point which we raise. But rather, I think litigation smiles on one which puts their points and positions forward across elegantly and succinctly. In my past, I've had the pleasure of privilege of working with some of the best advocates, like counsels like the late great Raja Aziz Adrus and even Datuk Gudel Singh Nija. And when working with them, you can see when they do their submissions or they conduct a trial, they do not exhibit a single shred of aggression in handling their cases, but in fact were persuasive, if nothing else. During trials, they conducted some of the cross-examinations ever so gently and to get witnesses to agree with their suggestions. Sometimes even without the witnesses being aware that the information or the testimonies they gave are adverse to the witness's own case. So I hope, my lady, that I have imparted and instilled upon the petitioner the understanding that apart for a select few of us, sometimes legal profession is not a profession which a lot of us are called to or made for. Although I'm sure many of us in our younger days, when we win an argument with our parents, they said, "Ay, lawyer buruk, you go and do law lah, or you should be a lawyer when you win." But a lot of practitioners, I think, my lady, can only get better in law or being a lawyer in one way, and that is by way of practice. I think this is the reason why our profession is always described as a legal practice and not a legal business. There's the saying among musicians, which I feel applies to the legal profession as well, that for musicians, there's only one way to get to Carnegie Hall, and that is practice, practice, and practice. One can only get better with more practice. I truly hope, and I truly and sincerely hope, Young Arif, that I have managed to convince your petitioner to one day, like the prodigal son, make a return to legal practice so that our legal profession does not lose one of its members to another industry. In particular, someone like your petitioner, who I have found, and I'm on the viewer, has a lot to contribute to our profession. With that, my lady, may I today call to celebrate the joyous occasion of the call to the bar of your petitioner, Lim Yu Han. Your petitioner had read law in the University of Manchester, a town where I have to say has the best football team which wears red, and then returned to Malaysia to complete her certificate of legal practice at the Brickfields Asia College. Upon the completion of her bar studies, your petitioner then commenced her pupillage at the firm of Messrs. Israel Partnership under the tutelage of my dear friend and learned brother, Mr. Wong Gobin, who I've known since 1992 from our college days. On this joyous and momentous occasion, my lady, your petitioner would take the opportunity to express her utmost gratitude to her parents. Your petitioner would not be standing proudly before your ladyship today without the unconditional love, support, encouragement, and sacrifice of her parents, Mr. Lim Boon Teck and Madam Ng Siu Chu, both of whom I'm sure are watching these proceedings via the wonders of technology. While your petitioner has not had the opportunity to be with either of her parents for almost 5 years, as her father, Mr. Lim Boon Teck, currently resides in Singapore, while her mother, Madam Ng Siu Chu, resides in Penang. Your petition knows that both her parents have worked very hard to ensure that your petitioner has had the opportunity to stand before your ladyship today to be admitted and enrolled as an advocate and solicitor of the High Court of Malaya. Your petitioner wishes for me to convey her utmost love, affection, and gratitude to her parents for all that they have done for her. Your petitioner wishes to express her unconditional love and thanks to both her parents for their sacrifices to raise her and her younger brother. And your petitioner dearly misses both her parents, especially in the last 2 years, where the unfortunate rampant spread of the pandemic COVID-19 virus has prevented her from having a family reunion with them. Your petitioner remains grateful for the phone calls she receives from her parents and hopes to soon be able to be reunited with them for a long-awaited family meal. Your petitioner hopes that she has made her parents proud of her and thanks her parents and her family for their love, inspiration, and unwavering support that they have provided her in her pursuit of a legal degree and her legal career. The opportunity to thank her master, Mr. Wong Gobin, for providing her with opportunities and guidance throughout her pupillage. While she says Mr. Wong Gobin is not an ogre or a tyrant by any stretch of her imagination, I can imagine that Mr. Wong does run a tight ship in the civil litigation department at the firm of Messrs. Israel Partnership. Your petitioner has informed me that while your petitioner's pupil master did have very extracting and demanding standards of work, your petitioner's pupil master was equally patient and helpful and had provided your petitioner with much opportunities to learn during her pupillage by providing a lot of constructive feedback to help your petitioner improve her work performance. Your petitioner remains grateful to have had such an esteemed practitioner as a pupil master and has gained much knowledge from the steep learning curve during her time as a pupil in the chambers of Mr. Wong Gobin. On this momentous occasion, my lady, your petitioner would also like to thank the following persons. Firstly, her then colleagues at Messrs. Israel Partnership, Ms. Jocelyn Goh, Cik Ifah Yaya, and Mr. Prajip Singh for their assistance and guidance during her pupillage. Your petitioner's university friends for always being there and providing your petitioner with their unconditional friendship, support, and for providing frank and honest advice, and for their constant encouragement since their law school days, namely Chong Chui Yao, Chai Kian Lu, Karin Chow, Jiazin, and Jia Hui. And last but definitely not least, her significant other, Mr. Chi Di Singh, for his ever-present love, encouragement, endless patience, and for always providing her with the support she required, especially in providing your petitioner with what she termed as sensible advice. Your petitioner will always remember the joyous times they have had shared together and looks forward to the future adventures that she will have together with Mr. Chi Di Singh. Lady, your petitioner is grateful for all that she has learned from her time as a chambering student and hopes to be able to apply the knowledge she has gained in whatever profession awaits her with much enthusiasm, determination, and passion. My lady, I verily believe that the petitioner is a fit and proper person to be admitted and enrolled as an advocate and solicitor of the High Court of Malaya. I believe the petitioner's papers are in order and that there are no objections from the Attorney General's chambers, the Bar Council, or the Kuala Lumpur Bar Committee. Dengan itu yang Arif. Oh, sorry. Tuan Ahmad.
Tiada bantahan ya Arif bagi pihak yang berbahagia tansi Peguam Negara.
Dengan izin ya Arif, Majlis Peguam tiada bantahan.
Jawatan Kuasa Peguam Kuala Lumpur tiada bantahan yang Arif.
Dengan itu yang Arif, saya dengan segala hormatnya memohon untuk pempetisyen anda, Cik Lim Yu Han, dimasuki dan didaftaraikan sebagai seorang Peguam Cara dan Peguam Bela Mahkamah Tinggi Malaya.
Mahkamah dengan ini membenarkan permohonan pempetisyen dan menerima masuk Lim Yu Han sebagai Peguam Bela dan Peguam Cara Mahkamah Tinggi Malaya dan juga memerintahkan nama Lim Yu Han dan penerimaannya didaftaraikan oleh pendaftar.
Terima kasih Arif. Dengan rendah diri saya memohon kebenaran untuk pempetisyen menjubahkan sendiri.
Dipersilakan.
Terima kasih Yang Arif.
Congratulations
Terima
and
kasih,
thank you, Mr. Yip.
Terima kasih Arif.
Dengan ini saya menjemput Yang Ahli Hakim untuk memberikan ucapan.
Tuan Ahmad Faiz bin Razali, Peguam Persekutuan mewakili Yang Berhormat Peguam Negara Malaysia, Encik Iskandar Putra, Wakil Majlis Peguam Malaysia, Cik Josephine Tew, Wakil Jawatan Kuasa Peguam Kuala Lumpur dan Pulau Pinang today, yes. Para peguam pengusul yang bijaksana, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan yang saya hormati sekalian, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan selamat sejahtera. Today we have the pleasure of witnessing the admission of our young ladies and gentlemen as advocates and solicitors of the Malaysian Bar. It is befitting at this juncture to congratulate each and every one of you at achieving your goal. This is an important ceremony that marks one of the most significant milestones in the lives of all of you, ladies and gentlemen, who are before this court today. You have survived all the grueling examinations and endured the intensive as well as the challenging pupillage. Congratulations again. But however, notwithstanding your perseverance and hard work, there is inevitably someone behind your success. You could not have achieved this success and endured the long journey to this momentous day without the loving support and tireless effort and sacrifices of your parents, especially, and your family members and friends. Remember always their sacrifices in that long and arduous journey to see you robed, signifying your formal inclusion into this exclusive and noble profession. Ladies and gentlemen, the legal profession is a noble and honorable profession. So they say, and I cannot disagree. One must be a fit and proper person to be called to the bar. The call is a public testimony of the pupil's adherence to the practice of the law, honestly and faithfully in the presence of his and her family and the court. You will now be recognized as an officer of the court whenever you appear in court. Beneath the glory of the occasion, the true meaning of this ceremony that you underwent is not about the grandeur of wearing the gown and be robed, but your affirmation of commitment to uphold justice and the rule of law. A call speech recaps a pupil's journey and affirms the pledge to uphold the bar's calling. It thus gives me great pleasure to be the first to address you on this memorable and special occasion. On behalf of the entire bench and everyone here, may I congratulate you and for your great achievement. All of you have come a long way, and from this moment, begin to embark on your professional career. Becoming a lawyer is prestigious and an achievement on its own. Strive not only to be a good lawyer, but an outstanding one. Lawyers have a special standing in any community and treated with respect and reverence. So live up to the expectation. As an officer of the court, ladies and gentlemen, you owe an allegiance to a higher cost, and that is the cost of justice and truth, plus an overriding duty to maintain professional standard of integrity and competence at all times and at all costs. With the grace of the Almighty, I believe the future is bright for all of you. I hope you will continue to strive to achieve excellence in the performance of your obligations and duties at the bar. These are my sincere advice. Success is no accident. It is hard work, perseverance, learning, studying, sacrifice, and most of all, love of what you are doing or learning to do. Desire is the key to motivation, but it's the determination and commitment to an unrelenting pursuit of your goal, a commitment to excellence that will enable you to attain the success you seek. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to congratulate all of you again, your parents and your loved ones once again on this admission and enrollment. I wish you all the best, the very best, and every success in your chosen career. Welcome to the arena and hope to see you in court one day. For your kind attendance and attention, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat sejahtera and have a pleasant evening ahead.
Okey, semua dah bersedia? Okey, dalam kiraan 3, 1, 2, 3. Okey, lagi sekali. 1, 2, 3. Okey, last one. 1, 2, 3. Okey, tahniah semua. Terima kasih.